Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, please do not forget to click the subscribe button and also to click the notification bell for you to be notified and updated in my new and upcoming uploads. Hi everyone. Okay, so thank you. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's episode of our video, we will be discussing, or I will be discussing about what are the different ways in order for a transgender to become successful in the drastic process of hormone replacement therapy, how a transgender can pass the HRT process. But disclaimer, I would just have to clarify this, that I'm not a doctor, I'm not an endocrinologist, I'm also not a person studying extensively or intensively about the process of hormone replacement therapy. And these ideas, these thoughts I will be sharing to you, it's solely based on my researches and also based on those transgender that I was able to ask or I was able to interview regarding informations about hormone replacement therapy. Therefore, I conclude that I am the right person to say these things because of those certain factors. I learned it through researches, not just ordinary researches, but extensive researches, and it is based on the experiences of my transgender friends online. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so hormone replacement therapy for me, it is like an examination. It is like an examination in a sense that there is this thing called period wherein you need to assess yourself whether you passed this process, whether you passed this exam or you failed, and what are the things that you need to do in order to be able to pass this particular exam. So HRT is like an examination. So just like an examination, you need to study your notes, you need to go to some review centers, you really need to spend time in order for you to pass the exam. Just like HRT, there are also certain factors that you need to do. There are certain factors that you need to consider why a certain transgender becomes successful in this process. So at this very point, I will be discussing to you guys what are those factors. Yes, it's very true. I am one of those transgender that underwent in the drastic process of hormone replacement therapy. Unfortunately, as I go into the process, I just found out that this process is really not meant for me since I have a congenital heart defect or heart problem. Therefore, I conclude that I wasn't able to pass the process of hormone replacement therapy, and it's something that broke my heart. But we need to accept the reality. HRT is really not for everyone, and one of the sad truths about HRT is that not all transgender will pass in this drastic process. So the question is, what are the factors to consider why a certain transgender becomes successful in this drastic process? So at this very point, I will be presenting to you general factors. So first, we have the medicines you're using, the type of hormones, the combos of hormones you are using. So these hormones, yes, it's very true. I must say these hormones, they are effective in their own ways, but it will just, again and again, these hormones will just depend, or your body will react to these hormones. So your body will react differently to these hormones you're using. That is why identifying the best hormone for you is really important in order for you to achieve those things that you wanted to achieve. And you can only do this by consulting to a doctor, an endocrinologist to be specific. Yes, before I am self-medicating, and I know it's very dangerous, and to self-medicate is really not advisable. So it is much appreciated if you seek a medical assistance from the person's expert in the field. Okay, so second general factor to consider in the success of the hormone replacement therapy is genetic or your genes. Genetic is a very broad category that encompasses many aspects. May it be your facial feature, your body, the structure, the framework, or I mean, your body frame rather, and also the fat redistribution in your body. This factor should also be taken into consideration because it plays a very important role. Can't deny the fact that genetics play a very important and critical role in the success of hormone replacement therapy, and it will determine if the transgender will pass or not. Example for genetic factor is before you were transitioning, you were a boy, you were male. So if you're good looking, if you're handsome, if you are gifted with this amazing looks, or you're pretty good looking, then if you will transition, it is a little bit expected that you will also be more, you will be beautiful, you will be feminine, since yes, the genetic play a very important role in that particular aspect. So if you were handsome before, if you will transition, if you will transform into a girl, you don't have to worry about your facial features, since one thing is for sure, you will have a pretty face. And that is based on my observation on the Filipino transgenders before they were transitioning, and now that they transitioned, they really look amazing. But for those transgender who are not gifted with this good looks, or not gifted with this beautiful or handsome looking facial features or good facial features, you don't have to worry, since you have the option to undergo different surgeries, facial feminization surgery, facial bone modification surgery, in order to address your concern, in order to look more feminine, and in order to lessen the gender dysphoria thing that you are experiencing because of your facial feature or facial attributes. And for the last major factor, we have lifestyle. So for the lifestyle, there are two subcategories. First is the type of food that you're eating. And the second subcategory is what you are doing. Are you exercising? So for the second category, for the first subcategory, what you are eating, the food that you eat, you need to make sure that when you transition, while you're in the process of transitioning, you have to make sure that you're eating the right food, you're eating healthy foods, in order for you to make sure that you will become successful in HRT, since the HRT is a very risky process. This will lead to many illnesses or diseases if not administered properly. If you transitioned, you have a high risk of blood clotting, stroke, hypertension. So you need to take into consideration the food that you eat in order to make sure that you're not putting your life in a great risk. Second subcategory is what you're doing. So if you're having this thing called sedentary lifestyle, then I think it is wrong for you to transition. So while you're transitioning, you should have a healthy and active lifestyle. So if you transition, it is appreciated, it is advisable that you do regular exercises in order to avoid blood clottings in your body, because if you're taking estrogen, if you're undergoing HRT, there is a great risk, higher risk of you getting blood clots or deep vein thrombosis, and it's very dangerous. DVT can lead to stroke and also myocardial infarction or heart attack. And there are many researches conducted claiming that HRT or undergoing HRT should be paired with regular exercises in order for you to achieve the desirable and maximum effect of this process. So you are required to do regular exercises, as it will determine in the success of hormone replacement therapy. So far, Those were just the major factors to consider why a certain transgender becomes successful in the drastic process of hormone replacement therapy.